Howdy there, Isaac here. This series started out as a joke what if, but we're about to delve into something a little more serious. As some old subscribers may know, I have a knack for darker, more serious stories, and I'm partially channeling that into this series. But I don't think I need any trigger warnings just yet, other than maybe a body dysphoria one. Anyways, without further ado, let's see what may have happened if Zarbon became a Zfighter. The story starts now. Whilst Zarbon and the other Zfighters were off fighting Jiro and 19, Appule was sensing what he could from within his healing chamber. Yeah, totally different things. Anyways, the alien had been awake for quite some time, even able to hear the conversations of people outside his chamber, but he didn't want to fully wake up just yet. See, while Appule was alive and had healed from his injuries, he wasn't quite ready to face his new reality. Something the alien had learned these past few years, and especially after body swapping with Cooler, is that when you body change, you don't entirely do so. In simple terms, a piece of you, your soul or consciousness or whatever, will always reside within your body, no matter what. Not only has Appule, after 2 body swaps, lost some of what made him, but there were these pervasive thoughts that occasionally invaded his mind. These thoughts did not only feel like somebody else's, but Appule swore they sounded just like Cooler or Ginyu. The lieutenant wasn't sure if these were actually the thoughts of those two, but regardless, he hated the dark thoughts that popped up. Yes, with this new body, he was more powerful, and maybe he could actually take over the world, or maybe even the whole universe, but that wasn't what he wanted. At least, not truly. But this wasn't the only reason he stayed within the chamber. What's worse than the thoughts is Appule's new body itself. By no means is it terrible, but it also isn't his body. Ginyu's body was uncomfortable, but after changing a 3rd time, he just felt disgusting. The lieutenant just wanted to feel more like himself, like the body he had was truly his once more. But for as uncomfortable as he felt, the fear that ran through Appule would completely override it. Seconds after the battle between the Zfighters and androids ended, a sudden power spiked only a few miles away from their location. What's worse is that this power suddenly flew towards Zarbon and the others, and from what Appule could sense, whoever this was began beating up all of his friends. The various key signatures of the Zfighters began to fade, something that greatly angered the lieutenant. He didn't want to exit the chamber just yet, but he had to do something. He had left his comrades hanging for far too long. He had to do something now. On the other side of the world, Zarbon had a horrified look on his face as he watched each and every one of his men getting decimated by Perfect Cell. Every one of the Zfighters had been one-shot by the Bugman, leaving only Vegeta, Goku, Piccolo, and Zarbon conscious. Your measly platoon made for a good warm-up, Zarbon. I'm glad you brought them along. It's too bad that you 4 aren't much stronger than them, at least compared to my power. The Bugman powered up slightly, reveling in his complete domination over the warriors. And what about our power, Cell? Suddenly Trunks and Pommel flew in, a sword and ki blast connecting with the android. In one swift move, Cell was blinded and cut in half. But for as effective as this move seemed, the android simply regenerated and powered up some more. Soon, all Trunks could do was dodge the incoming punches from his opponent, while Pommel worked to dodge his tail. Surprisingly, the two fared far better than Zarbon, or even Vegeta, something Cell seemed to enjoy. Oh, and isn't it Trunks? And, well, I don't really know who you are, but with that greenish-blue skin, I'm guessing you're related to Zarbon over there. This is impressive. The Trunks in my timeline wasn't anywhere near as strong as you two. Multiverse theory is so much fun. And the Cell in my timeline didn't look anywhere near as ugly as you. Now, let's finish this. Pommel suddenly powered up, his body growing larger and more reptilian. The future warrior grabbed onto Cell while Trunks began weaving hand signs. The Bugman attempted to get loose from his captor, but Pommel was just barely able to hold him still. Within a few seconds, a large yellow ball of keys surrounded all three of them. Then, Pommel let go, while both he and Trunks raised their arms up into the air. Cell, along with the key sphere, shot up into the air, while the sphere increased in size and density, this being the pair's savage heat dome attack. As Cell disappeared into the sky, all Zarbon and the others could do was gawk. I mean, everyone trained for 3 years, and then these teenagers come in and completely outclass them again? On top of this, now Zarbon knew this Pommel kid was definitely his, or at least the likelihood of it being his kid went way up. And honestly, he couldn't be more proud. His son was quick, efficient, and strong. But just when the commander was going to get up and properly greet his son, the future warriors went stiff.
Are you serious? How could he? This isn't the same one from our timeline, Trunks. We don't know what kind of tricks he has up his sleeves. Our best bet is to retreat. You get everyone. I'll cover you,
Pommel said as he readied a key sphere in his hand. Trunks nodded, but that's when Cell suddenly teleported in and delivered a neck chop to the reptilian. The future half-Saiyan charged with Bugman, only to have a fish shoved into his stomach, sending him right back into his base. Once again, the Bugman had defeated Earth's strongest warriors, and was now standing unopposed. Hahaha, what great fun! They were far stronger than you four. But then again, they have what, 20 years on you? Tell you what, since you never got a chance to train for the perfection that is I'll let you four off the hook, provided you train with these two future boys to get stronger. We'll meet again in 2 weeks, and don't disappoint me. Or else. Cell vaguely gestured off to the side, casually blowing away a mountain in the distance. But just as the android was going to fly off, a familiar figure appeared. Almost faster than they could see, Appule burst in, striking Cell across the face. The lieutenant fiercely began throwing hands with the android, landing blow after blow. That is, until Cell manages to recover and retaliates with a combo of his own. Before long, Appule is beaten into the ground, but he's allowed to live, for the sake of his tournament. With that, the Bugman flies off, leaving the Zfighters to recover. Piccolo helps wake up the Earthlings, while Zarbon wakes up what men he can, before flying over to his unconscious son. The commander is able to wake his son, but Pommel doesn't look very happy. In fact, he quickly scoots away from the reptile, much to his confusion. Zarbon attempted to calm his son down, saying it was fine, that Cell was gone, but the future warrior simply sat up and dusted himself off, practically ignoring the commander. Now this was weird. Sure, Zarbon knew this wasn't exactly his son, but still, shouldn't they at least be a little more cordial? Oh wait, maybe Pommel was just trying to avoid contact in order to keep the timeline from messing up any more than it already has. Yeah, that had to be it. If you're avoiding me because you think I don't know you're my son, there's no need. I'm not one for hugs, but I'd certainly like to get to know you. Zarbon stretched a hand out to Pommel, who quickly smacked it away.
You think just because I'm your son we'll be buddies or something? How about you just come up with some plans to stop Cell? You're good at that whole tactics and stuff.
Zarbon was utterly shocked by this outburst, but before he could ask about it, his son had flown off. This is where Trunks stepped in.
He's kinda had a rough life. In the future, you're not so nice, but I'm sure he'll come around sooner or later. For now, we should discuss what's happened.
Zarbon wondered what could have possibly happened in the future, but decided against asking for now. And so, Trunks informed them that he hoped Gero would send out 17 and 18 first. That way, they could be destroyed before Cell got there. He then decided to explain what exactly happened in his own timeline. In the future, the androids killed many of the Zfighters like they do normally, although before they could finish Zarbon and a few of the others, Appule arrived. With his strength and some quick thinking from Krillin, they were able to escape. The group made a strategy to beat the androids, but the initial battle did a number on future Zarbon, though he still had faith in them at that point. Once the day came, future Zarbon led the charge on 17 and 18. Using Appule's body change, they captured 17, but that's when Cell arrived. The Bugman absorbed 18, but with some quick thinking once again from Krillin, he used a solar flare and they were able to escape. Cell terrorized the Earth looking for Appule, and over the years, Zarbon lost more and more of his men to his attacks, until it was just him, Gohan, and Appule. Trunks' mom built a time machine, and here they are, trying to change the future and the past. It took a minute for Zarbon and the others to fully understand what Trunks had said. It didn't explain why Pommel was so angry with him, nor why they couldn't beat Cell if he was only in his apparent second form, but it did explain why the two were so strong. So far, this day was a complete emotional roller coaster, and that wouldn't quite end as Zarbon walked over to greet Appule. "It's nice to see you up, although I wish it were under better circumstances." Zarbon sat next to his friend. "Same here. I'm still getting used to this body. At least it's strong enough to actually do something now." Appule looked at his hands, opening and closing them as if testing them out. "What are you talking about? You were plenty strong before, but now, I think you may have even surpassed me." Zarbon chuckled, but Appule stayed silent, still gazing at his dark purple hands. The commander didn't exactly understand what his friend was going through, but he made sure to make it known that he'd be there for his lieutenant, as much as he could be at least. With Goku falling ill, the others wondered how they could possibly get strong enough to fight this Cell guy, but that's when Kami gets in contact with the fighters. They are told of the room of spirit and time, and not wanting to pass up a chance to gain strength, everyone prepares to fly off to the lookout. There, the various fighters attempt to figure out who should go first, but of course Vegeta simply grabs Trunks and walks in, much to the annoyance of Zarbon. This does give the commander a chance to decide what order he and his men should go in, though. He wanted to go in with Pommel, but the future warrior was still giving him the cold shoulder, so perhaps he should have someone else go in with him. Well, either way, he should probably see who all has paired up. Idu and Piccolo had paired up, surprisingly, though it was mostly due to the fact that they were both Namekians. Blueberry and Appule were also paired up due to their high levels of strength and, well, savagery in battle. The other members of the Zfighters paired off as well, all except Appule and Pear. Zarbon knew his lieutenant was feeling melancholy, but he had no idea why Pear wouldn't want to train, so he confronted his subordinate on the matter. "Pear, are you planning on slacking off the next 2 weeks?" It's not like that, sir. It's just..." "Well, what is it, soldier? What's the problem?" Zarbon leaned over the Arlian, attempting to intimidate him. "Well, for us, a year is like 2 years. Arlians only live to around 40, and I'm already 15. That's like 30 in human years. Commander, as much as I want to help, if I go in there, I might be too old to do anything when we get to Arlia." Zarbon thought on this for a second. He had never really considered the fact that some of his men may have a shorter lifespan than him. He always thought they'd just be around, for a while. So he decided the best thing to do now was to make a statement about it. "Alright, for anyone worried about their lifespan, you don't need to go into the chamber. If you don't go in, we'll still respect you, and you'll still be a valued member of the Zarbon force. For those who do go in, good luck." Funnily enough, nobody backed out, which kinda made the commander feel a small glint of pride. But his little announcement didn't only affect his own men, but Pommel as well. The future warrior walked up to his father before transforming right atop the lookout.
"Transform for me, father. I need to see something."
Zarbon did so, even if he was still a little uncomfortable showing such a savage side of himself. Pommel looked his father up and down, sizing him up before powering down.
"As I thought, you're the strongest person here besides Appule. It looks like we have no choice but to train together, but I won't be going easy on you."
Pommel began walking away, but Zarbon didn't mind so much now. If they were going to spend a year together, they'd have to talk, if only a little. Hopefully the commander could find out why his son seems to hate him so much, and maybe even change his mind. But for now, the group would have to wait for Vegeta and Trunks to exit. Nothing else of importance really happens in the day of waiting. They witness Cell create his arena and make his announcement of the games, as usual. However, when Trunks and Vegeta do exit the chamber, that's when the real show begins. With Trunks being much stronger than usual, and Vegeta knowing what Cell's power felt like, the two got some serious training done. While they're both stronger than their original counterparts, they still can't beat Cell. I'd say they're around the same level of strength as when they entered the Cell games, or a little under that. Basically, instead of stalemating the Cell Juniors, they'd have a moderately hard time keeping up with them. Now, it was time for Zarbon and his progeny to enter the chamber, something he was both dreading and somewhat excited for. "Are you ready?" the commander asked his son.
Like I said, I won't be going easy on you. You're the one who should be readying himself.
Pommel walked into the chamber without another word, and Zarbon followed behind, prepared for the toughest year of his life. But that's where we'll be leaving it off for right now. I hope you guys enjoyed this part, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you savagely burn that like button, or maybe even train in the hyperbolic time chamber with the subscribe button, if that makes any sense. You guys know what I mean. I really enjoyed writing the dynamic between Zarbon and Pommel and how it's so different from Cell and Soma in that series. Honestly, the idea just kind of hit me, and it's so easily rolled with Zarbon and his journey thus far. I know, it's a little late to get a super compelling and emotional story in this What If, but I hope you guys stick around to see where I take this. And honestly, once again, I have to thank each and every one of you for watching the video and even subscribing if you do. I mean, it's been crazy. I didn't get a video out this last Saturday because of, life, but it's just so insane. Even though I haven't gotten a video out, and I missed like a video the last Saturday too, just checking every day and seeing more and more subscribers, subscribing, it's crazy. I didn't think that would be happening. I remember when it would take, the only time I would get subscribers is like the day after I post a video, and I would get like maybe 2 or 3, and now I'm getting 2 or 3 a day, sometimes like 10 a day, and that's just insane. I mean, soon we're going to be hitting 400, and I don't exactly have anything planned. I'm trying to plan something for 500, but like, it's just insane. And even if I don't make a specific video for 400, I want each and every one of you guys to know that I appreciate it. And I appreciate you getting me to 400 and eventually 500 when we hit that, because we are going to hit that anyways. With that, you guys have a good day or night wherever you are. That's it for now. Bye bye.